Silence is not empty. It is the weight that makes other voices bend. A smear drops at noon, threads multiply, reporters ping. Your team asks for a statement. You answer once. Received. Reviewing. Update at 9. Then you stop. No extra line, no late-night clarifiers, no hallway sermons. The void you leave is not retreat. It is a vacuum that pulls your rivals forward. They talk to feel safe. They talk to look strong. They talk because your stillness denies them a shape to push against, and in their rush to fill the gap, they overexpose what you needed to see: who's coordinating, who's bluffing, who's afraid. Watch how the quiet pivot works. The more they speak, the more their story changes tense, detail, and tone. They add adjectives to sound certain. Adjectives are the fingerprints of fear. They name sources. Names can be checked. They float deadlines. You note which ones move when ignored. Meanwhile, you gather the receipts, timestamps, contradictions, the single document that turns the room. By 9, they've donated evidence. You did not out-argue them. You outlasted them. Their noise purchased your signal. Now cut words from your side. Words are liabilities. Every sentence is a promise you will later pay. Signals are assets. Timing, posture, and enforcement carry the weight that talk tries to fake. Timing. You acknowledge fast to calm the herd, then decide slow to control the auction. Posture. Jaw soft, eyes steady, messages small. You teach the room that you will not be priced by panic. Enforcement. One clean action beats a week of transparency. You change access, freeze a process, or reassign a file. Quietly, once. And the air changes temperature. Consider 3 scenes. First, a junior manager tweets a half-truth. HR drafts a 3-page defense. You decline performance theater. You log the breach, schedule a morning review, and remove their admin rights for the night. No hashtags, no debates. The building learns the rule without a sermon. Second, a competitor leaks your delay. You issue a 12-word receipt and move the launch window by 24 hours to kill the speculation cycle. Their thread exhausts itself against a wall. Third, a partner feigns urgency to cut your fee. You reply with your standard window, acknowledge today, decision tomorrow, and attach the clause that increases price for shortened timelines. Silence now bills them. They either wait or pay. Disciplined quiet does not ignore truth. It organizes it. Silence is the drying room where facts harden and lies crack. In a fast reply, you give away your pulse and your plan. In a slow decision, you gather patterns that make one move decisive. The effect is simple and brutal. Your stillness starves their fire. Your timing reveals their fuel. And your action looks inevitable because you waited until reality leaned your way. Make the discipline mechanical. Set 3 windows and keep them like law. In person, 1 breath before any answer. In a writing, 3 hours before any substance. For formal matters, 24 to 48 hours with a single scheduled update. Acknowledge, not explain. Ask narrowing questions that force your opponent to commit to details. Write little. Archive everything. Reduce surface area, fewer channels, smaller rooms, fixed agendas. And when your moment arrives, compress force. 1 step. Documented. No victory lap. You let the consequences speak, because consequences do not contradict themselves. You will be called evasive. Let them talk. You are not hiding. You are harvesting. You prefer a record to a reply, a standard to an argument, a single strike to a daily flinch. Talk tries to be control. Silence is control. And the room learns slowly. Then all at once that your quiet is not weakness, but pressure. The kind that makes loose parts click into place. Hold the rule where you can see it. Practice it until it becomes your heartbeat. Let your rivals spend themselves in words while you buy time, Buy clarity, and buy the angle that ends the fight in one move. Acknowledge fast, decide slow, act once. The room heats fastest when you open every window at once. Conflict is not ended by exposure, speed, or sweetness. It is ended by position, timing, and cost. When you practice radical openness, rush to reply, and try to talk your way into peace, you do not shrink the fire, you feed it oxygen. The wise do not broadcast their clocks, sell their leverage for applause, or let the need to look fair put them on trial. Begin with the transparency trap. Being clear sounds moral. In practice, oversharing gives adversaries your timelines, doubts, and thresholds. A product lead posts a day-by-day roadmap to build trust. A larger rival skims it and schedules a thinner pre-announcement to make you look late. A manager writes long decision diaries to model honesty. A resentful peer plucks the lines that reveal who rattles you and when, then times objections for maximum damage. You publish open calendars to stay accessible. Vendors learn the exact hours to escalate. Activists learn when to swarm, and your one deep work block becomes a cue for other people's urgency. Radical openness turns from virtue into telemetry. You are not hiding truth by pacing disclosure. You are protecting advantage while you deliver it. Do not confuse clarity with exposure. Clarity is rules, criteria, and proof after the fact. Exposure is live clocks, weak points, and unpriced emotion. Share what remains true in a storm, acceptance tests, escalation paths, definitions of done, and the reasoning behind a decision once it ships. Hold back what moves the market, exact dates, brittle dependencies, and the names of people you are still persuading. Move hard debate off the stage and into a short room with owners, minutes, and a deadline. Publish decisions when the ink is dry. Publish lessons when the wound is closed. The result is not secrecy, it is control. Now the second fire, urgency theater. The tool is simple fake clocks and emotional pings designed to weaponize your need to look responsive. Ping at 4:57 p.m. Quick call now? EOD, or we lose the deal. Real deadlines tied to physics filings, inventory, regulation, a plane that leaves without you. The rest is pressure wearing a calendar. When you sprint on command, you sell your position cheap. You trade diligence, documentation, and alternatives for the brief relief of seeming helpful. Speed becomes a discount stamped on your judgment. Adopt a sovereign pace. Create response windows and make them public. Emergencies require evidence. Business needs dates. Social gets space. If someone insists on speed, trade it. Narrower scope, added resources, or written ownership of risk. Move the countdown to something they cannot widen. Later sign change orders, scheduled reviews with the decider present, deliverables that survive screenshots. The honest clock survives witnesses. Theater hate light. When your cadence becomes predictable and clean, panic looks sloppy beside it, and the room calms because your timing does not bend to their nerves. Third, approval as chains. You want to be seen as fair, reasonable, generous. Your critics know. They do not argue to reach a decision. They argue to keep you explaining. The more you explain, the more they own the frame. Endless debate loops are not a search for justice. They are attacks on your resolve. Talking it out becomes the trap, a circle where nothing is priced, nothing is dated, and every boundary waits for a smile that will never come. When you hinge action on unanimous esteem, you invite the most strategic objector to set your price. Esteem must follow enforcement, not precede it. Decide in the open, document the why in one page, and act. If you grant grace, name the grace and the end of it. If you draw a boundary, make the smallest necessary move early, fairly, and once. People can dislike a decision and still to respect its clarity. No one respects a leader who negotiates against their own standard because the room looks anxious. Your task is not to convince every heart before you protect the mission. It is to protect the mission so honest hearts can keep working. Bring this to ground with 2 scenes. First, launch week. Old You posts a live thread, streams the build, answers every comment, and invites radical feedback. Outcome. Rivals preempt your announcement, internal cynics pile on, and the team chases optics instead of testing rollback. New You publishes the acceptance tests, runs a closed pilot, ships quietly, then releases a clean changelog and a dated post-mortem. You share the framework and the proof, not the arteries. The cycle stabilizes because oxygen is rationed and timing is yours. Second, salary review. Old You replies instantly to a late afternoon, "Need your numbers today." You scramble, undersell, and apologize for asking market rate. New You answers in your window. You attach artifacts, benchmarks, scope, measurable impact, and request the decider in the room. If they insist on speed, you trade it for written follow-up and a review date within 2 weeks. You pace the negotiation, and your price stops moving with their tone. Respect rises because your cadence teaches others how to treat your time. Make 3 structural shifts. 1. Move from tell everything to tell the invariants. Publish standards and shipped evidence. Let fragile timing become history before it becomes public. 2. Move from respond now to respond on schedule. Protect maker hours, batch communication, and fail publicly to meet fake clocks so people learn which buttons no longer work. 3. Move from be seen as fair to be fair and be seen later. Let repeated, even-handed enforcement build your reputation while you ignore the bait that seeks to draft you into performance. You are not colder for doing this. You are clearer. You are not less honest. You are harder to handle. Control the oxygen and the tempo, and conflict shrinks to its real size. Your team breathes. Your word grows weight. The room learns that you can be calm without being available, transparent without being exposed, kind without being cheap. And the people who wanted only your attention drift away, because attention is no longer free. If you need a sentence ready for the next ambush, use this. I don't make live decisions in chat. Then offer the real path. Put it in the doc by 6. We decide at 10 tomorrow, with the owner present. When the pings escalate, let the clock you set do the talking. When the thread demands your diary, give them your standard. When someone asks for reassurance disguised as data, give them a date and an exit. You stop feeding the fire, and you start placing walls. In the end, conflict is not cured by explaining faster. It is managed by designing better. Hide your clocks, show your proofs, price your speed, and act on schedule. The people who wanted your time will find a softer target. The people who wanted your outcome will find you. Share frameworks, not arteries. Decide on time, not on demand. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel. Your opponents watch your face much more than your plan. Approval addiction, humiliation sensitivity, and control panic make silence feel like suffocation, so you fill the room with explanations. The moment you cannot bear an empty beat, you surrender tempo. They do not need to outthink you if they can make you speak. Strategy dies when your mouth moves first. If you want the advantage, you must master the art that cannot be seen waiting. Start with a trigger inventory. Be for forensic, not poetic. Fast explanations are the first leak. A simple question lands, "Are we sure about the timeline?" And you rush to tidy the air. You stack clauses, provide background nobody requested, and translator, check into a public seminar. That speed reports your wound. You fear being judged before being understood. Late-night essays are the second leak. You type at 1:13 a.m. because discomfort feels like rot. You press send and donate your calendar to anyone awake enough to answer. Public justifications are the third. You post long defenses to appear transparent, and you end up publishing your supply lines, who is late, where the budget is thin, which stakeholder is shaky. Nervous jokes finish the set. You deflect with humor to show you are not rattled. Instead, you teach the room exactly where to poke. Write a checklist you can obey under heat. Breath, high in the chest. Drop it to the belly for 2 slow cycles. Tongue racing, count 3 beats before any answer. Urge to justify, ask one narrow question instead. Which part is unclear? What specifically changed? Which outcome do you want? Desire to soften with jokes? Close the mouth and hold neutral face. The purpose is not performance, it is parity. When you slow, you make them show their hand before you show yours. Now, the need leash. The need to be liked or understood turns silence into pain, and pain buys relief with concessions. In negotiation, you volunteer discounts to keep momentum, proving their clock owns you. In leadership, you overshare to be fair, and your team learns that urgent feelings outrank written rules. In romance, you send paragraphs to erase ambiguity. The price of your presence falls with every message. The pattern is consistent. You trade options for the feeling of being good, clear, or safe. Your opponent reads the trade and raises the cost. Tie each need to its loss pattern, so you see the invoice before you pay. Approval need equals accelerated clocks, softened terms, and longer messages that reveal too much. Understanding need equals over-disclosure of constraints and contingency paths, which others later exploit. Control panic equals premature commitments that cannot pivot when reality moves. Replace need with numbers. Decide floors, ceilings, and response windows before you enter the room. Speak them as sentences, not wishes. Earliest start is the 15th after deposit. Scope changes price. List changes. I confirm tomorrow by noon. A schedule is a shield. A rule is a wall. Those who fed on your volatility will call you cold. Let them starve. Humiliation loops make you pay fastest. A public slight lands. A rival questions competence on a call. A stranger clips you online. A subordinate challenges you in front of the room. Your pride surges. You go live. You explain, defend, promise, and reveal. For an hour you feel clean. For weeks they hold your map. The chain is simple. Wound, signal, extraction. The signal is immediate speech, fast replies, long threads, a performance of candor. The extraction is intelligence timelines, risk areas, political weak points, and the lever that moves you. Fear of looking small. Break the loop by demoting the audience. You are not speaking to the crowd. You are governing the room. If a jab lands, label the sensation and sit with it. Delay turns adrenaline into evidence. In public, trade defense for scope. We'll address deliverables in the working session. In the meeting, partition the heat. There are 3 issues. Let's sequence them. Afterward, write the record. What was claimed, what is true, what will be done, by whom, by when. If correction is due, make one small verifiable action, then silence. If no correction is due, do nothing. Rage buys applause. Records buy leverage. Adopt a cooling protocol so quiet becomes a habit, not a mood. First, delay windows. No public statements inside 24 hours of any public hit. No scope changes without a written impact summary. No personnel decisions inside 48 hours unless safety demands it. Second, 1-sentence acknowledgements. Noted, received, We will review Thursday. These are doors with locks. They keep you from walking into traps built from your anxiety. Third, written rationale offline. State the rule, the breach, the cost, and the aim before any hard move. Writing shrinks theater and calibrates proportion. Fourth, second mind checks. Require a counterweight to sign off legal, operations, or a trusted peer whose incentive is continuity, not applause. If you are alone, make tomorrow's you the second mind. Your future self is colder, borrow his hand. Understand how opponents convert your wounds into steering. They use praise, then ask, "We love your openness. Could you share the cost breakdown?" They use counterfeit clocks. Offer expires at midnight. They use weaponized silence to provoke chasing emails full of discounts and details. They use baited debates in public to trap you into teaching your playbook. They use comparison to trigger your status panic. Another team shipped in a week. Your counters must be mechanical. We don't move under clocks. Scope in writing, then price. One follow-up, then we wait. Quality requires order. Earliest start after deposit is the 15th. The less your bloodstream decides, the fewer handles they can grip. Make it visible tomorrow. A prospect writes, "Match X today and it's yours." Your chest tightens. You breathe low. Decisions finalize after review tomorrow at noon. Current terms stand. A manager asks on camera, "Can you reassure us now with numbers?" You hold cadence. Numbers publish Friday after reconciliation. A friend texts, "Why so slow?" You keep your window. I respond 9 to 7. If that rhythm doesn't fit, we may not align. You will look less eager and more inevitable. That is the look that keeps enemies cautious and allies organized. None of this requires cruelty. It requires governance over yourself first, then others. Silence is not weakness. It is a boundary that forces reality to speak. Short, acknowledgements are not cold. They are scaffolding for decisions that can survive daylight. Written rationale is not bureaucracy. It is a weapon that turns motive into measure. Second minds are not distrust. They are insurance against your own heat. You are not trying to win moments. You are trying to keep the plan alive long enough to win the campaign. Inventory, the triggers that make silence impossible. Tie each need to its invoice and refuse to pay it in haste. Map the humiliation loop and cut it with delay, scope, and records. Install the cooling protocol until it runs without permission. You will feel the old itch to explain, joke, and soothe. Let it itch. Breathe low. Ask narrow. Decide on paper. In a world that judges by the eye, your restraint is the unseen hand that moves the board. Quiet first, then terms. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can touch. Your spiral begins where the clock leaves your hand. A small provocation lands a sly aside in a meeting, a vague post that smells like your name, a message with a missing line meant to itch. You answer on cue. Your reaction becomes a schedule the opposition can predict. Poke, watch you perform, collect the moments. In that rhythm, you reveal need the urge to be cleared, admired, obeyed. They stop chasing facts and start staging frames. The story becomes your breath rate, not your reasons. Step by step, they set your tempo. Minute 0, the jab. Minute 1, your paragraph, longer than your rank requires and warmer than your office allows. Minute 3, for context, you leak details that never belonged in daylight. Minute 5, they respond with a cool sentence and own the hour. Minute 7, you escalate to screenshots and subtext. Minute 9, a short question from them widens your hole. Minute 12, You contradict a clause from minute 1 to plug the leak you made. Each beat is a cue they predicted because your wound keeps the time. Make pace non-negotiable. Impose a tariff of time on every reply. Draft on paper where there is no send button. If they choose the hour, you choose the format. One paragraph with nouns and dates. If they choose the format, you choose the hour. You are not paid to flail, you are paid to decide. Silence is not surrender when it buys position. It is custody of the frame. Hold your breath long enough for language to harden into terms. Receipts and reversals follow haste, like shadow after light. In the rush, you say more than the situation demands. At noon you swear by policy. At 2 you plead confidentiality. At 6 you make an exception, just this once. None is a lie. Together they look like design. Screenshots turn into coins. Time stamps betray you. A sentence softened at 1-3 lives forever in 10 private chats by 1-4. Later facts will not rescue early theatre. They will sit beside it and make you look split. Quantify the cost of volatility. A frantic thread can shave points off evaluation because buyers price distress. A public reversal can add oversight gates to a project because sponsors insure against your heat. A promise spat out under pressure becomes a bargaining anchor. You admitted X, therefore you owe Y. Every edit you make to soothe today becomes a paragraph your rival reads to a jury tomorrow. The archive becomes your prosecutor, and the timeline your cross-examination. You minted the weapon, they only spent it. Structure is armor. Answer the charged claim, not its orbit. Swap mist for nouns, heat for dates, posture for records. If you are wrong, name the act and the repair once. If you are right, let the clock carry your case. Speak as if your enemy will read your sentence aloud because he will. The goal is not to look clever in the minute. It is to look inevitable in the hour. In statecraft, brevity properly armed is power properly secured. Ally fatigue arrives quietly, then suddenly. Allies are not a chorus, they are lenders of time and credibility. High-maintenance leaders burn calendars. The senior engineer who must triage your public outbursts at midnight will soon anchor a roadmap elsewhere. The board member who must defend your reversals will hedge until neutral feels like wisdom. Neutrality, left alone, drifts to your rival because your rival wastes less time. People do not leave because they hate you. They leave because your weather ruins their seasons. Reverse the attrition with cadence. Promise your inner circle, I will speak once, clearly, after verification. Keep it. Send brief factual updates before anything public, so no ally is blindsided by your impulse. Reward the reliable in daylight. Correct the volatile in private. Document both. Predictability is kindness in a coalition because it lets serious people plan. When your tempo is known, patient partners stand closer, opportunists lose angles, and spectators grow bored. You do not need applause. You need a schedule others can trust. Apply visible consequence without spectacle. The reprimand executed on the day promised deters better than any speech delivered in heat. The cancelled contract with a one-line notice educates faster than a month of public scolding. Compassion inside structure strengthens order. Compassion outside structure is cruelty to the reliable. Resolve necessary harms in a single, exact act. Distribute benefits in regular, quiet doses. The room calms not because you roar, but because the clock is kept. Now the tightening noose. Public flailing invites guardians. Oversight rises because markets insure against risk. Shorter leashes, smaller scopes, pre-approvals. Autonomy is converted into checkpoints, your signature into a counter-signature from someone less talented but more trusted. Each panic becomes a clause. Each reversal becomes a weekly review. You think you are buying relief with words. You are renting permission from people who now price you as volatile. Dependency is built one safeguard at a time until your office feels like a queue. Measure that leash. A midnight thread can turn one clean approval into 3 layered gates. A messy town hall can convert a flexible budget into milestone rations. A contrite but unplanned apology can lock you into permanent discounts, free months, escalated support, because once you bargain from guilt, the market keeps pricing you as guilty. This is chatter purchasing dependence. Every outburst buys applause and sells autonomy. The invoice arrives as time you do not own. Replace chatter with preparation. Build the ladder before the rain. Rule visible. Private warning quoting the rule and the clock. Measured consequence on schedule. Restoration path clear to all. Cold process, warm tone. No sarcasm. No spectacle. Plan 3 moves you hope never to use containment, consequence, restoration, and rehearse them in quiet. The public should see one page at the right hour. The machine beneath it should have weeks of practice. Statecraft is not improvised, it is revealed. Modern scenes are blunt. A competitor launches a feature aimed at your crown. You want to clap back. You do not. You ship a counter, announce once with dates and numbers, and let the board read posture from pace. A manager performs insolence in the group channel. You skip the sermon, issue a written correction Wednesday noon, enforce Friday 5, and close the loop. A former partner posts a personal story. You decline the theater, speak one line only to the person owed an answer, and shut the door. Each choice looks small. Together they tell the street, the clock is yours. Return to the hinge. Hold silence until your sentence can move the board. Provocation is bait for time. Your opponent does not require your error. He requires your rush. He wants statements you must edit, edits you must explain, explanations you must pledge, pledges he can price. Refuse the chain. If the matter is real, it will still be real in an hour. Use that hour to gather records, harden language, line up allies, and choose one move that widens options. Identity holds when the hour is yours. Own the clock, seal your words, move once with weight. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. Drop the fantasy that persuasion wins loyalty. People do not follow your paragraphs, they follow your pattern. If your standard is predictable, you become legible. If your enforcement is steady, you become respected. Silence is not emptiness. Here it is the clean edge that makes the rule visible. You do not need to argue at every door. The door either opens on time or it stays shut. That is how rooms learn. Respect before warmth. You can be liked and ignored at the same time, praised on Friday, bypassed on Monday. Respect begins when people can forecast you and the cost of crossing you. So you anchor your state. One tone on good days and bad, the same answer at noon and at midnight. If a meeting starts 10 minutes late, it still ends on the hour. If someone misses your window, their reply moves to the next cycle. Volatility invites negotiation. Reliability ends it before it starts. You are not cold, you are readable, and readability is what lets other people plan without bracing for impact. At work, the charismatic manager sells motivation with jokes and free pizza, then begs for weekend miracles because he let scope leak all week. The team smiles at him and hedges around him. Replace the show with structure. Publish priorities by noon Monday. Midweek check at 5. Friday wrap with next steps. Miss an upstream handoff twice and scope shrinks automatically. Next sprint. No scolding, no theatrics, just sequence. Watch what happens. Meetings shorten, calendars clear. Trust climbs, because the rule speaks louder than the manager. People carry your standard when the standard carries them. In dating and friendship, the same math applies. A charming invitation buys an evening. A consistent boundary buys a calendar. If you do not argue, and after 10, you do not, especially when you are baited. If you say you show up at 7, you are there at 6:58. Your silence at 11:47 p.m. is not hostility. It is the legibility that tells the room who you are. Over time, the right people lean into your rhythm, and the wrong people fall off without a fight. Terms over stories. Stories feel noble. We get each other. We're aligned. Our hearts match. But they dissolve at the first sign of pressure. Translate feelings into terms that hold under heat. Scope, cadence, consequence. Scope says exactly what is inside the fence and what is not. Cadence sets the heartbeat when updates land, when renegotiations open, when silence is normal. Consequence defines what changes when a promise slides. These are small, boring words. That is why they work. Write them plainly. Work. 3 deliverables by the 10th. Updates Tuesday and Friday. If one slips, we cut scope, not sleep. Collaboration. 2 posts per week. Shared. Dashboard. First of month renegotiation. If either misses twice in a month, we pause or rebalance. Family. I visit first Sundays. If I'm booked, I move to next month. Guilt does not alter the calendar. Intimacy. We discuss conflict in calm hours. Shouting ends the talk for the day. Cancellations inside 6 hours cost the next slot. Terms turn goodwill into a map both sides can follow blindfolded. When pressure rises, you walk the map, not the mood. Renegotiate only with new facts. New market, new role, newborn facts. Busy, crazy week. You know how it is weather. If you let weather rewrite the law, you teach the room to pay you with storms. Keep the line you drew when you were calm. Change it only when the world truly moves. And keep your enforcement quiet. Silence is the grammar of standards. The missed slot is released. The late arrival shortens the meeting. The raised voice ends the conversation until tomorrow. No speeches, no sarcasm. The pattern speaks, and the pattern is the point. Mercy after order. Generosity has weight only when the rule has teeth. Mercy before boundaries reads as weakness. Mercy after boundaries reads as strength. Sequence matters. Boundary first, leniency second. When someone breaks the rule, the consequence lands cleanly. Scope cut, slot released, access paused. Only then, if it serves the larger piece, you add mercy. A one-time exception documented, a smaller penalty for self-reporting, a path to re-earn priority. The law remains. The pardon proves you are not cruel, you are in command. Picture the teammate who misses a deadline and arrives with tears. If you grant an invisible extension, you train the room to weaponize crisis. Instead, the task rolls forward. Future scope shrinks until delivery recovers. Later, once calm returns, you offer a tight mercy. Ship a reduced version this week to rebuild cadence. In intimacy, the rule is no public fights. The first breach ends the talk for the day. The next morning, you walk together and restart. The rule stays the rule. The mercy is the warmth that keeps the rule from becoming a blade. Do not confuse silence with passivity. Your silence is the sign that the standard is doing the talking. It is the quiet door that opens at 7 and never at 7:12. It is the calendar slot released at noon without a lecture. It is the meeting that ends on time because time is the sovereign, not your mood. This is how you teach without humiliating, how you protect without grandstanding, how you turn your life into a city with laws that citizens can trust. Here is the reframe. It was never love persuading people to stay loyal. It was predictable standards converting respect into cooperation, terms converting ideals into schedules, and mercy arriving only after order made it safe to give. Set the line. Keep the cadence. Let silence make your standard legible. Then be generous from a place that will still stand tomorrow. Standards first, then warmth. You win by saying less and arranging more. Silence is not absence. It is pressure shaped into time. You are not stone-faced to be mysterious. You are quiet to make the room reveal itself. You standardize the pauses. You receipt without surrender. You ask narrowing questions. You cut the oxygen to rumor, and you act once. No paranoia, no cruelty. Just a clock, a pen, and a single clean move. First, the 3 windows. You fix your tempo so their urgency cannot set your price. In person, 1 full breath before any substantive reply. Count it. Sip water. Let heat fall. The breath turns impulse into choice. Over text, 3 hours. Enough time to verify dates, pull the file, and strip adjectives from your mouth. Formal matters, 24 to 48 hours. You are not slow. You are governed. Publicly, you announce the window so silence isn't misread as surrender, I'll reply by noon tomorrow. Privately, you honor it like a contract. The fool buys relief by answering fast and pays interest for months. You buy clarity by waiting and pay once. Second, acknowledge, not answer. You reply with short receipts that keep control without feeding bait. Received, reviewing, update 10. Got this, verifying numbers. Written response tomorrow. You do not litigate by chat. You do not negotiate live. You do not guess to appear helpful. Receipts reduce theater. They calm the insecure and corner the manipulative. If pressed, need your answer now, you repeat the receipt and the clock. I'll respond after verification. Note at 4 p.m. Your voice remains spare and repeatable. You are building a record, not performing a mood. Third, question chains. Silence alone is a shape. Questions give it teeth. You ask pointed, narrowing questions that force detail into daylight. Which date did the scope change? Which email authorized it? Which clause permits adjustment? What exact remedy are you seeking in writing? Then you ask the follow-up that stitches a net. Who else was on the call by name? Attach the signed scope with timestamps. If fees were waived, which invoice reflects the waiver? 1 claim per sentence, no adjectives you will regret. You speak last, letting stories collide with themselves. Over days, contradictions appear without you ever raising your voice. People who rely on speed hate paper. You make paper their only path. In dating, the same chain works in simpler form. What are you asking for exactly? If the answer is smoke, you stop fueling it. Fourth, surface area reduction. Pressure leaks through numbers of people and channels more than through the facts. You shrink the room and collapse the threads. Fewer channels, 1 email chain, 1 shared doc, 1 calendar event. Smaller rooms, only decision makers present, spectators removed. Written agendas, 3 bullets, time-boxed. If someone attempts a live ambush, while we're all here, can we just decide? You move the play to structure. We'll capture changes in writing. I'll send the summary by 5 p.m. Gossip needs oxygen. You build walls. You do not ban conversation. You root it. You do not stifle dissent. You demand receipts. When the stage is small and the script is written, the loud lose their advantage and the prepared gain theirs. Fifth, the single, clean move. You prepare 1 decisive action with documentation. You act once, you go quiet. Before you move, you set triggers in cold blood. 3 missed deliverables, 1 confirmed breach, a clause crossed. You gather proof, dates, amounts, files, signatures. You draft a concise memo that a stranger could read and understand. Then you execute in your window. Access paused, role reassigned, contract terminated or approved. boundary enforced. After, you release the memo 2 to 5 sentences. Plain language, behavior, clause, consequence, path back if appropriate. Then you stop talking. No victory laps, no debate loops. You let the documentation carry the message and the silence carry the weight. Run the system through modern scenes so it lives in your bones. A vendor calls at 7:30 p.m. claiming costs doubled. 3 windows. Received send, the itemized changes with receipts and the clause permitting adjustment. I'll reply by 10 a.m. Acknowledge, not answer. Question chain. Which purchase orders changed? Which date did notice go out? Attach the signed scope. Surface area. All discussion moves into a single thread titled Change Order Review Vendor A. Single clean move. In the morning, either approve a documented change order or pause work until proof arrives. You spend 1 calm action instead of 100 emotional sentences. Dating. A late night, come now text. 3 windows. Nights are read by default. Acknowledge. Don't answer. Let's plan Thursday at 7. Question chain, if needed. Are you asking to meet now or to plan? Surface area. No. Back and forth in DMs. Plans live on the calendar. Single clean move. If pressure returns, access reduces, then closes with 1 line. I plan in advance. Take care. No essays. Your calendar speaks. Workplace politics. A manager hints you're not collaborative. In person, 1 breath. Acknowledge. Happy to review. Question chain. Which meetings, which dates, which deliverables were affected? Surface area. Move feedback to a shared doc. Add next steps and owners. Single clean move. Propose a 2-week probe agenda. Check-ins. Decisions logged. If specifics never arrive, escalate once with HR in the room. Memo attached. You are not defensive, you are exact. Build maintenance, so silence keeps paying you. Morning. Rehearse a 1-line receipt aloud until it lands smooth. Midday. Choose 1 question chain you might need and paste it into your notes. Afternoon. Prune channels, close a chat, merge a thread, archive a dead room. Evening. Write a 2-sentence memo. You hope never to send. Keep it ready. Daily, train face control for 5 minutes. Neutral jaw, soft eyes, still hands while you read a heated sentence. Your body is the envelope your silence arrives in. You will feel the pull to explain, to defend, to clear the air with paragraphs. Resist. Paragraphs breed paragraphs. Records end arguments. The room will test your clock. Hold it. The room will bait your pride. Let it pass. The room will ask you to decide. Live. Decline. You are not colder. You are costed. Your pauses are not distance. They are design. When others spend their future to buy relief from the moment, you let the moment pass and keep your future. Do not confuse quiet with weakness. Weakness is noise without proof. Quiet is proof without noise. Your windows protect judgment. Your receipts hold the frame. Your questions harvest facts. Your small rooms suffocate rumor. Your single move teaches the line that will not move. You will be misread as lucky until the pattern repeats. Then you will be read as inevitable. Pause on purpose, ask for proof, act once. Silence is a policy, not a mood. The dividend of stillness shows up in numbers first and faces second. When you slow your tempo, costs stop hiding in smoke. You answer after the breath, never before, and the room recalibrates to your pace. People stop throwing emergencies to buy your attention because emergencies no longer purchase access. Offers arrive cleaner, scope written, timelines dated, ownership named. Vendors remove the rush tax when you never buy in a rush. Your team makes fewer mistakes because they mirror your breathing. Near misses fall and handoffs click. Calm is not decoration, it is a margin strategy. The quieter you are, the more data speaks. The more data speaks, the less anyone dares argue with fog. Stillness also reduces conflict by making the price of noise visible. You publish response windows, escalation paths, and the cost of late surprises. Early signals are rewarded with time. Last-minute theatrics are taxed in budget and access. People adapt. The colleague who once arrived with sirens now arrives with a timeline and 2 options. The client who pushed for now learns your schedule and plans accordingly. Because your silence is disciplined, it is legible. Because it is legible, it is trusted. Predictability attracts strong contributors, not because you flatter them, but because steady rooms protect their craft. In this weather, promises land on their dates, and trust compounds without speeches. From survival to strategy, you govern your nerves, then you govern the clock. You keep a neutral face that neither flatters nor threatens. It saves you from accidental promises. You refuse to be dragged by alarms and choose where you are reachable, and for what. You move, talk to briefs, briefs to decisions, decisions to signatures. Reversals require new data, not new moods. You decide in batches facts on Monday, trade-offs midweek, commitments at week's end. Fast lanes exist for true fires, but the rest moves by design. When a competitor shouts, you do not sprint. You wait 1 cycle, gather failure modes, and ship the update that outlasts their headline. When a partner wavers, you offer a written amendment with clear give and take. The relationship survives because the rule, not the mood, carries the weight. Strategy is logistics expressed as habit. You separate advice from authority by naming who carries the risk. You set bright lines and keep them bright. Interruptions become petitions for time rather than commands. You route praise down and accountability up. You reward early warning with slack and penalize last-minute drama with cost. Dashboards are dull by design, leading indicators, thresholds, triggers that fire before the smoke does. Beneath each bright line sits a buffer, a vetted second vendor, a documented handoff, a week of slack in the schedule. These layers look like overkill until the week they save the quarter. Order stops being a slogan and becomes a supply line. Now the quiet crown, night glass, a long table, too many slides. Heat arrives, a blown estimate, a last-minute plea, a performance of urgency. You listen. You let the first exaggeration hang until it condemns itself. Then 3 sentences. What is approved? What is cut? Who is accountable? 1 safeguard added, 1 date moved and made final. You speak for less than a minute. You do not raise your voice. The room lowers theirs. Your brief words land, and your silence moves the furniture, because everyone remembers the one time you had to be hard, precise, humane, final. Memory does most of the governance. You do the rest with a sentence. This is the payoff of silence as daily discipline. Rooms that run on standards, not moods. Fewer crises to tax your sleep. Clearer offers that respect your time. Victories that look inevitable because sequence, not adrenaline, carried the day. You did not beg for peace. You administered it. You chose the breath before the word, the rule before the audience, the pace before the push. And the world, relieved to find a stable metronome, began to play in tune. Breathe, set the tempo, and let quiet do the work.